What's up guys, it's Sam here. Today we're going to be going back onto the stuff that we usually cover with stocks and the stock market. And in particular, we're going to be looking at two stocks that define the freelance economy that are Upwork and Fiverr. After a quick Instagram poll, we got a resounding favor to do this video. So I'm going to go into these two stocks in good detail and just give my opinion on what I think it is. And remember, this is not financial advice, and to do all of your own due diligence when you're looking at stocks and the market. And remember to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, as we're really gaining traction now and we're really getting on the move with subscribers. So right, let's get straight into the video and get straight into the stocks. Welcome back, and now it seems that the age-old question of Upwork versus Fiverr is on everybody's tongues when they are thinking about getting involved in the freelance and the gig economy. So we're going to just go into a lot of detail on where Upwork wins and where Fiverr wins, and just compare their financials and their balance sheet, and really just get into it and get a good understanding of which one I personally think I have and which one I personally own. So the freelance economy is really blown up with the transition to remote working. Short-term projects, side hustles are also massively on the increase. Everyone wants to boost their income from any shape and form that they can do by utilizing their skills, posting online and getting people to come in and basically hire them just for short-term projects that they can work on in the evening, just to have that little bit more of income. Freedom. So a lot of people are realizing now that time is more valuable to you than actually just earning money. So people like to have this freedom where they can work in their own hours, they don't have someone over them, that kind of thing. So that's also kind of contributed towards the growth of the freelance economy. Working from anywhere. So people like to move around these days. There's a traveling kind of thing is going on quite a lot these days, and people like to work from anywhere. And also, as I mentioned just previously, the flexibility of it. Now that's enough just about the freelance economy. I'm going to bring you onto the websites of these two companies and talk about their CEOs. We can start with Upwork. So this is Upwork's website. It's pretty easy. If you're looking to find talent, if you're looking to find work, it's pretty easy to set up. So just like as an example, you're looking to find work, you sign in, you create a little account, and you can literally search for anything at all. Like, so I can just go up to the search here, graphic design, spelled incorrectly. So you have all these guys that you can contact, you can talk to them about what you want, what things you're looking for, and it's just a really easy to use kind of system. I know that like Fiverr, it's very similar, like as you'll see as I just go through that one as well. But yeah, this is Upwork's website, really simple to use, really easy to contact people, and yeah, it's very good. It's very good. And look, we'll just go now just look at what their leadership board is, and most interestingly, the CEO. So two of the most important people here, you have Hayden Brown, which is the CEO. She's been the CEO since January 2020. She's been at the company for close to a decade. She's very good. She's very passionate about the company. She's very driven to making Upwork the #1 player in this space. And also the chief financial officer we have is Jeff McCombs, and he's also extremely important. He comes with a wealth of experience being at Facebook, also being at the Lehman Brothers. I know they didn't do too great in the Great Recession, but this is where these kind of people are coming from, and it's very good. And like, look, I think we're in very safe hands at Upwork, and I think to have a great leader in Hayden Brown to really drive this company forward for the future. So now we're just going to go over to Fiverr's website and a bit about their leadership board too. Now that we're on Fiverr's website, you can see it's pretty much the same thing as Upwork. There's nothing much between them. They like to say that they've got partnerships with a lot of different companies, but it's the same for Upwork. They're all being used by a lot of the top companies at the moment. So look, it's the same thing. You're going to type in anything website design, and look, then you have all of these kind of things here, and you can literally pick and choose. So I was going to continue with Google just for the sake of this. And then you can just pick and choose whoever you want, you can talk to them. It's pretty easy to do. I actually personally, we use this for our own animation at the beginning of our videos. We actually did that from Fiverr as well. So we have a personal experience actually using it, and it's a very, very smooth process. And I was very happy, and I would be coming back again to do it. I haven't done the same with Upwork, but I have actually signed up to Upwork before and tried to offer your services like that way too. Like, so that's interesting to do. So I've kind of done things from both perspectives. And yeah, Upwork, the sign up process, very, very good. Fiverr, look, it's very, very easy to use if you're looking for someone to do a specific job for you. So look, we're just going to go look at what the leadership is. And it's one of the really key things I find when looking at a company is when you're looking at the leadership and who is actually running it. So Fiverr, interestingly enough, is actually run by Micah Kaufman, and he is a founder. So I find with founders, when companies are led by founders, they're way more driven to make the company a success than someone potentially put into the role. So Fiverr is Israeli based. It had two co-founders, Amisha Kaufman and Shania Winger. Winger is no longer with the company anymore, but this company has been on an absolute roll. It was created in 2010 and it is growing phenomenally. It has a bit of a faster growth rate than Upwork, and this guy in charge, he really seems to know how to do it with marketing. You're probably seeing ads on YouTube for Fiverr, get your freelance person here, and they're everywhere really in marketing, and they generally do come above Upwork when you do search them on Google search. So interesting, so that ones that are run by founders, I find are way more motivated to get the company more over the line and to just expanding at a rapid pace. And now look, we're just going to go into the financials of Upwork and Fiverr, and then we're going to just finish off with like the balance sheet and just where we think it's going. So look, I'm going to get straight into financials now. So we're going to start with Upwork's financials. So Upwork, if you do follow us for a while, you'll notice that I had them in the video in one of our first weeks of the top stocks that I own. So Upwork is a company that has really been on a tear over the last year, which we're going to get into a bit of the price action that it's had. But the market cap is coming in at between 7 and 6 billion, which is quite a lot when you're looking at the revenue of it compared to some other kind of companies around the same kind of growth rates in different industries though. The stock price has been kind of between 50 and 60 generally. Sometimes it does dip below 50, but generally it's been trading between 50 and 60 over the last few months. The revenue for 2020, was 373 million, which is quite a lot when you're looking at the price to sales ratio of 15, which is pretty expensive. But their growth rate is coming in at a pretty impressive of 37% and a forward PE of minus 165. Which is kind of showing that they're not going to be profitable anytime soon. So look, if we go into Fiverr, you'll see the comparison between the two, and you can kind of see what the price difference is between the two. So as we'll do, we'll go into Fiverr. So Fiverr is kind of trading at a bit more of an expense than what Upwork is trading at. So market cap between 7.5 to 8.5 billion. It's been on a bit of a downtrend along with Upwork just over the last few days, generally trading between $210 to $260 per share. Their revenue last year was 189 million. Their forward PE is actually positive compared to Upwork's negative, between 190 to 210, and their growth over the last year was 100%. So they grow over twice what Upwork grew in the last year, from 34 million to 68 million. Do you remember what I said about the marketing, the sales revenue that they put in? They put in a lot of work that way, and they are everywhere. They're a lot more in your face. But look, the price to sales ratio is 34, which is over double what Upwork is. So a lot of these high growth companies, they trade off a price to sales instead of a price to earnings. And that's why they tend to get hit a lot more when markets downtrend. So Upwork is definitely the cheaper one compared to Fiverr, but you are paying a premium for the higher growth rate of what Fiverr is. Right, so just going to take a quick look at the growth rates of these two companies. So as you can see, this is Upwork. We're having a bit of a bad day today on it, but you can see the growth rates are coming in for this year at 30% and 24% the year after, which are pretty impressive growth rates. So that's why these stocks kind of trade at a premium, because they're growing quite a lot, and won't be surprised if they do beat this quite easily. So yeah, look, they're really high growth companies, and I do think they're going to absolutely smash past the 30% for this year and be going towards that 40%. So look, it's going to go and have a look quickly just at Fiverr and see how they compare. Here you can see we're now on Fiverr. Fiverr is a 62% for this year and 35% for the year after. So that's quite a dramatic reduction, like not as much as a reduction as Upwork's is, and it's coming closer to around the same level after 2 years. So this is something that you might want to consider when looking at these, that they might have a slowdown in potential growth over the next while as well. But yeah, look, they're both high growth companies, and they're definitely, either one of them would be great to have in your portfolio. But we'll go into how much I actually have and where I was actually buying the Upwork stock at later on in the video. Let's just take a look at the balance sheets of these two different companies and how they compare. So Upwork has a total assets of 560 million compared to a total liabilities of 254 million, which is pretty good. Like, they're around the 50% mark, just under, and that's kind of a good ratio to have for the current. That's kind of a good ratio to have currently, as a lot of companies, if they get over the 60 to 70%, you're kind of be wondering where they're putting all their money. So the total cash they have on hand is 269 million, which is pretty good. That's pretty solid. They had free cash flow in the last quarter of 36.5 million. And this is where it's interesting. The profit margins on these two companies are absolutely ridiculous at 73% for Upwork, which is absolutely crazy. So now we're just going to have a quick look at where this revenue is going. Right, so this is Upwork's last earnings report, and you can see how much they spent on research and development, how much they spent on marketing, and how much they spent on general administrative costs. So you can see that research and development is in at 23% on a GAAP basis and 21% on a non-GAAP basis. The revenue that goes on marketing and sales administration is 35% on a GAAP basis and 34% on a non-GAAP basis. Then just general administrative costs are 21% on a GAAP basis and 14% on a non-GAAP basis. So you can see that they're spending an awful lot of money on research and development, which is absolutely crazy, because when they want to, they can really start earning the money in. If they start spending so much money on marketing, start spending so much money on research and development, they turn this company into an absolute profit beast. So the writing is on the wall for these two companies. So look, we'll go and have a quick look at what Fiverr is looking like. So Fiverr's balance sheet is also very, very good as well. Total assets of 892 million, total liabilities of 551 million, which it's not as good as Upwork's balance sheet, but it's still fairly okay. You kind of would accept that that's an okay balance sheet to have. I prefer Upwork's over this personally. Total cash balance of 183 million, which is less than Upwork as well. I know that this actually declined massively. As you can see, like, the free cash flow was minus 84 million from the previous quarter. So they actually spent an additional 84 million. And look, we can have a quick look at where that went as well. The profit margin on this company is over 10% more than Upwork at 84.1% of a profit margin. So look, it's the same story. This company is putting so much money into expensing marketing and sales administration costs. So look, we can have a quick look at where they're putting their money and the percentages that they have there too. Right, so this is Fiverr's balance sheet, and you'll kind of see that there's something different than it is to Upwork's. So you see that operating expenses, research and development, 16.8 million, sales and marketing, 42.6 million, and general administrative costs of 11 million. So This is a total of 70 million, and compared to the revenue of 68 million, they spent more money on these costs than they brought in revenue. So this is why they're a lot more on the marketing side than Upwork, but it kind of brings me to a bit of a concern that they're spending a lot more money than Upwork. They're losing more from their cash flow than Upwork are, and they're trading at more of a premium than Upwork are. So you can kind of see where my decision is going with these companies and which one I actually do prefer over the other. Now I'm just going to show you where I bought in for Upwork. So this company has gone up over 1,000% in the last year, which is absolutely crazy, and Fiverr is definitely not far behind it at all. I'll just show you the points where I bought in Upwork, and I'll also show you the points where I actually got recommended Fiverr and where I actually did come close to buying it, but I never pulled the trigger on it. But I'll show you the exact points of where I bought Upwork. Right, so this just brings you into the 1 year chart on Upwork. And here you can see, like last year, this stock was trading at the lows of around $5, and it went all the way up to over $60, which is absolutely crazy increase in just 1 year. And the first time it kind of came to my attention was around in June of last year, and I started buying Upwork pretty much at around $11 first few buys, and just kind of averaged in around that time all the way up until $14. And then I was kind of holding it for a while. It was all going pretty well. They got some great earnings that came out in around November, and this jumped the price up by nearly 50% in 1 day. And that's when I also got a bit more faith, and I decided to buy a bit more as well. And then we just went on an unbelievable run all the way up to over 58, and it peaked out intraday at around $63. And then we had a bit of a decline, and I decided I'd buy a bit more at over around $35 per share. So like, I've been consistently buying this over a while, and it's done me very well. Like, it's probably my best gainer from one single position, and this stock is completely underrated, and no one really talks about Upwork, and it's just on an absolute tear over the last year. And then just kind of to the same price that we're at today. Like, we've had a bit of poor price action over the last 2 days, but look, this stock is going places. They're growing really well. They have a fantastic balance sheet, great leader, and the stock is definitely going to be there for the long haul. So look, we'll just have a quick look at Fiverr and just some of the positions that I potentially was going to buy them at, but I never pulled the trigger on them. So here we have is the 1 year chart of Fiverr. So Fiverr this time last year was coming back pretty well from the March lows in around July time, and it was around $75, and now it's over to 208, which is nearly a 200% gain. So when I first had a look at Fiverr, it's kind of around the same time I saw Upwork, but it was just after the March crash, and it was around $34. Like, so this stock peaked out at around $333. Like, so that would have been over a 10x from that first look that I did. And look, unfortunately, I'd never bought the trigger, as I went for Upwork instead of Fiverr, but both have been absolutely phenomenal over the last year. And look, we've kind of getting the same declines here as Upwork did. So Upwork and Fiverr, they generally move together, and you're kind of seeing this decline heavily as well at the moment. And look, I don't think they'll both decline for too much longer, as people will be seeing this as an opportunity, and people will start buying into these two stocks. So yeah, look, that's just the graph action on where these two stocks have been. And look, I think they're going to be a lot more expensive, and I think both of them would have a good place inside anyone's portfolio. And just like my own personal one, I kind of go towards is Upwork. But yeah, look, that's the graphs, and look, we're just getting to the conclusion of this video now. Look, that brings us just to the end of the video on between Fiverr and Upwork. I gave a good overview of the two companies, their growth rates, a lot of their financials. And look, both companies are great companies. They're both taking advantage of this new gig economy that is becoming more and more popular for freelance people to get out there and make their own money. But in my opinion, I would go with Upwork. Upwork, I think, has a stronger balance sheet. Their growth rate is not as high, but they don't come with as much of a premium. Both these stocks, though, they are both expensive from where they were, but I think Upwork has more of a chance of growing into its valuation more so than Fiverr does. So yes, look, both of these companies have a position in anyone's portfolio, as you do want to expand your portfolio into different types of industries. And the gig economy is going to be one that's going to be with us for the next while, and I can't see a time when these companies are not going to be growing. So look, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you to like and subscribe to our videos, as we are really getting on track now, and YouTube is really taking off for us. And I'd love if you would take a time to join our Discord chat as well, and look, we're trying to get as many people talking in there as possible. So look, thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one.